Now I'd like to talk about the most common effects for cleaning up your audio. As we already know, many times we get our audio files and they're not as clean or as nice as they should be, so we need to use some effects to just clean them up. Let me go ahead and delete these clips from the timeline. I'm going to change my editing workspace. Let me go ahead and reset it. And I'm going to zoom out and delete these. And I'm going to add the voiceover. And there you go, which is a mono clip. And I'm going to apply some of the most common effects used in Premiere for cleaning up the audio. Let's start with the declicker. So under Effects, Declicker, I'm just going to add it to the clip. Now I'll select the clip, go to the Effect Controls panel, and here it is. I can expand it. The declicker effect is used to remove unwanted clicks that may have been introduced by bad film splices or by hitting the microphone. This has two parameters that you can set up: the threshold and the deplop. The threshold just means how much of the signal will be affected, and the deplop, it's the extent of the reduction of the low frequency clicks. So it's just called a deplop because it's no longer a click, I guess, because it's a low frequency sound. So this you use for when you hear all these clicks and all that from your audio file. Let me go ahead and delete this effect. And let's add a decrackler. The decrackler removes crackling sounds like those you get from a vinyl record or an old 16 or 35 millimeter film transfer. This effect has these parameters: threshold, reduction, and audition. The threshold is the level of crackles that you want to be detected. The reduction is by how much you want to reduce them, and the audition is to hear only the sounds that will be removed. So this one is interesting because if you want to hear just the sounds that will be removed, then you know that if you hear some of the ones that you want to keep, that maybe the threshold is set too low or too high. So just play around with these values. Let's go ahead and remove this. And let's go to the de-esser. Let's go ahead and apply the de-esser. And let's expand it here. The de-esser is for those occasions in which you hear lots of S's, those sibling sounds, and those S frequencies, those S sounds that some people get depending on the positioning of the microphone and how they speak, how far away from the microphone, the angle, etc., etc. So this helps with that. This has two main parameters, which are gain and gender. The gain is to reduce these frequencies by how much, and you set that in dBs. And the gender is you set the gender of whomever is speaking, male or female, obviously. Let's go ahead and delete that. The dehummer is a really important one. Many times we are recording something and the microphone itself was not grounded properly, and that's electrically speaking, was not grounded properly, and that introduces hum into our audio signal. This is a very distinct sound, very loud. If you've ever gotten it, you cannot miss it. This reduces that. So the dehummer removes 50 or 60 hertz, that hum, from your audio. This has these parameters: reduction, frequency, and filter. The reduction is how much you want to reduce the hum by, and it's measured in dBs. The frequency is the center frequency of the hum, either 50 or 60 hertz. In the United States, because of our electricity, the hum is actually going to be 60 hertz most of the time, when it's a ground noise that you're hearing, when it's something that wasn't grounded properly. The filter is the amount of harmonic frequencies that you want to filter out. Whenever you get a sound, you don't just get the sound that you are getting. You actually get harmonic sounds that go with it. The amount of filter that you put in here is how many of these harmonics are going to be filtered out. So higher values require more processing power, but they're actually filtering the harmonics that go with the original hum. So it's going to produce better result. Let's go ahead and delete that. And last but not least, let's add the denoiser. This is perhaps the most common effect that you're going to use for audio here in Premiere. The denoiser automatically detects noise and removes it. It has these following values: reduction, offset, and freeze. Reduction is by how much you want to reduce it, and is measured in dBs. Freeze stops the noise floor estimation, in other words, that automatic estimation, so that you can locate noise dropping in and out of the clip. The offset sets a manual value between the automatic and the manual noise reduction that you may have set. So when you need additional control on denoising a clip, you should go to the offset value. The denoiser also has a custom setup that looks like this. If you play this, you're going to get these audio waveforms playing here.
Rancho Playa, where you can enjoy our pristine beaches as well.
You can set reduction and offset in here, and by looking at it, you may get a better idea on where the noise floor is, which is what this is, and what the offset should be. So the denoiser just does it automatically, but you can and should go in here and tweak it a little bit to get better results. Of course, one of the best and easiest ways to clean up your audio is by using Sound Booth. To use Sound Booth, you have to have Production Premium Suite or the Master Collection Suite from Adobe because it requires Dynamic Link. So to do that, let me go ahead and reset my workspace. You can right-click your audio clip right here in the timeline and choose Edit in Adobe Sound Booth, Render and Replace. You should choose Render and Replace because if you edit the source file, which is this setting right here, you're actually going to be editing the original file, and most of the time we don't want to do that. Render and Replace just creates a copy of it, and you can just go from there. We're not going to go into Sound Booth in this series. There's another series for that. But just know that you can do this, and Sound Booth is an audio application, so it's going to do a little bit better job than Premiere.